Our next speaker is Cherie DiNoia. And Cherie is a relentless champion for happiness. Now, I should say that not just her own happiness, but she is genuinely interested in the world's happiness. So she will be speaking about design, and not just any kind of design, but designing your life on purpose. Cherie DiNoia.
Thanks. Your brain is designed to ask three and only three questions. Can it eat me? Can I eat it? Or can I have sex with it? That's it. Now, I know that's a really simplified version of the 16 terabyte computer that is your brain, but it gets to the heart of the problem. So the design function of your brain is to keep you alive and perpetuate our species. That's it. And it does a lot of things automatically. It manages your breathing, your heartbeat, your liver function. There's a few things I like to manage myself. It would save me money on haircuts and dyeing my grays. Not to mention I got a zit on the day of this talk, right? I would have avoided that. But our brain does a lot of really important things, and it does a miraculous job. The problem comes in is when we allow our brain to construct our lives around avoiding getting eaten. You have a brain, but you're not your brain. We need to learn to use our brain, but remain firmly in the director's seat of the movie that is our life. So let me tell you how I came to this realization. I grew up in the typically American two-family home system. I have 4 loving parents, lots of siblings. I got a great education. So I grew up, I got married, I got a job, a dog, a house payment, and I was supposed to be happy. Everything was supposed to be great, but I wasn't. Something was missing. I mean, really missing. I thought, I did everything everyone told me to do. I've got all this stuff. I should be happy, and I wasn't. So I started to look to change the external things, right? I got divorced. I moved. I got a new job. If any of you tried my strategies, you'll know that it didn't turn out so well. I learned that changing the flavors of the same things wasn't going to make any difference anyway. So next, instead of actively trying to change my life, I crawled under the covers. And I got sad, and I got really resigned. Now, if any of you knew me at that point, people didn't say, oh, that's Cherie girl, she's the resigned and cynical one. No, they didn't say that. I mean, I was somewhat still cheerful. I got up, I went to work every day. But on the weekends, I literally didn't want to get out of bed. I was so exhausted from putting a show on all week, trying to pretend I wasn't miserable to myself and others. I was hopeless and a little angry. I thought, is this the whole thing? I get up, I eat, I go to work, eat again, maybe work out, watch TV, go to bed, and do it over again, day after day after day after day. I started praying to anyone who would listen. What is this for? What am I doing? I read hundreds of books. I went to seminars. I went to 4 different churches. But I realized that no one taught me how to design my life in a way that was fun and fulfilling and a contribution. I had let my brain manage my life much in the same way that it managed my heartbeat. It was on autopilot. I was just bumping along. So let's go back to the questions. The reason that we stay stuck is because our brain is always scanning for threats, and the most important threat is that of getting eaten. You say you could eat tomorrow, you could even practice procreating tomorrow, but not if you get eaten today. And when this design function was created hundreds of thousands of years ago, human beings, or whatever we were then, we had to watch out for tigers eating us or strange birds coming down. Today, the threats are more psychological. So the threats look like someone not liking us or not approving of us or failing a test. Our brain, though, does not differentiate between tiger eating us, boss yelling at us. They both signal sudden death. Now, I know it's illogical to think, well, you know, your boss yelling at you is not sudden death. But your brain operates like it will, and usually without your permission. Let me show you what it looks like. So last week, I yelled at my kids in the morning, getting ready for school. I know that's not very productive, it's not even logical, but here's what my brain did. They have got to come downstairs and get off Minecraft and put their shoes on because we've got to get to the bus, because if we're late for the bus, I'll have to take them to school. And if I have to take them to school, then I'm going to be late for my meeting. If I'm late for my meeting, my clients might fire me, and if they fire me, oh my God, then my business would collapse. If that collapsed, I'd be homeless, they'd move in with their dad, and I would die alone. of this, right? It's not logical, and it's not even a good excuse for yelling at my kids, but sometimes it's physiological. So how do we get around the system? Well, first of all, it takes the willingness and the courage to step out of the confines of the gray cinder block cell you've created as a life to protect you and start living. I mean, really, really living. So if you're tired of the monotonous treadmill that has become your life, try doing this. Imagine you're 100 years old and you're playing bridge or golf or hang gliding, I don't care, and you hear your friends talking about you. What would you want them to say? What's your legacy? What's the contribution you want to be into the world? And then from that perspective, think of 3 things you can't not do in this lifetime. You have to do. Mine are living a creative and designed life as an example and supporting others to do that, world schooling my kids, and establishing a vibrant yoga and find your purpose retreat in Spain. I mean, that's what I want to do. So when all these activities start coming at me, I gauge everything I'm going to do against those things. Is that going to fulfill on that? Has my choices be more mindful? So I say no to happy hour and yes to gong yoga meditation on Fridays. Even though I really care about sustainable housing, I say no to those meetings because it's not what I'm up to. And I definitely say no to gossip and reality TV, and absolutely yes to events like this or watching TED Talks or reading about people who do important things. You really can design your life. It's simple, but it's not easy because we are hardwired just to make it. But consider this, that you're here tonight. I suspect you ate something today. I suspect you have a bed to sleep in tonight. Consider that you're already doing better than a huge chunk of the world's population. And consider you got this survival thing hacked. Tell your brain to relax, right? You have this one life to live. Find what makes your heart sing and stop living a default life where the only intention is to survive it. Thank your brain for protecting you all these years, and then politely ask it to get in the passenger seat and support you in living a life you design. One last thing, I have an invitation. A few years ago, some friends and I, we started a club. It's called the 2% Club. There are no dues, no meetings. Membership is free and open to anyone. Scientifically, they have proven that if we could shift 2% of the population to come from love and conscious purpose, rather than fear and survival, we could have peace on the planet. No kidding. And do the math. That's 140 million people. That's not a lot. So I invite you to become a self-declared member of the 2% Club. Just think, you could be or you could inspire that one person that causes the tipping point. Thanks.